Hello, everybody, and welcome here to Homestead-Miami Speedway once again for the Sportsman Legacy Truck Series here, presented by TH Designs. Hello, my name is Christian Delgado, your lead producer and commentator for the night's race here at Homestead, here for High Velocity TV. We get ready to take a look at your standings for practice. Now, currently, your fastest in practice is number 8 of Tyler Bellinger. Welcome back to the Truck Series, Tyler. Glad to have you back. As we see about a little over 8 minutes left in practice here. See if we can find some other drivers. So right now, P2 on practice. Also, coming back to the Truck Series, Andrew Short. And they're one of the, I would call, veterans of the series. You know, I've raced in the Cup Series, the Xfinity Series, the Truck Series, even made a couple of starts in the VRS Truck Series. As his, you know, back in the day, the VRS Truck Series allowed some of those guys who ran in Cup and Xfinity and all those guys to go down and run 5 select races. So we saw Zander run quite a few races down there in the Truck Series, did really well for himself. But right now, currently P2 in practice. Right behind him, Lucas Edwards. And number 87 Duracell machine. Really slick looking machine he's got there. Went in P3. P4 you see him doing some little victory burnouts. Hopefully maybe he could take it home here. But you see P4 in there. Garth Griswold. You radio on the number 23 machine. That Dr. Pepper machine looks really slick as well. Nice looking paint for that 23. We're going to try to get this out of the way while we can. Mateus Esquiquel Marcamini. We'll put his name up here just so you guys can see it. Make sure we're not butchering it that well. Mateus Ezekiel Marcamini. Mateus Ezekiel Marcamini. I hope I'm saying that right, Ezekiel. And now he's running P13 on track. Fastest time of 34.59. Ooh, we see him getting a little sideways out of 4. Good luck at tonight's race, Ezekiel. Welcome to the Truck Series. I think this is first start here in the Sportsman Legacy Truck Series. So good luck in your debut, Mateus. Corey Mata Bossman right now, P16 out in practice. Something we haven't talked about is, you know, what you expected. I expected Corey to be a little bit higher up in the charts, but remember, if you read in the description down below as well, this is the first time that really, maybe I'm wrong. Maybe there's some other leagues that do this, but this is the first time I've ever seen these trucks run at Homestead. And, I haven't talked about this a little bit before just because, you know, we went to Charlotte and then we went to Daytona where there's really a fixed series, a fixed set for these things, but you know, Corey's been making some custom sets for this league to see if they make these trucks drive a little bit better, drive a little bit quicker. And you know, not a lot of people come to Homestead in these trucks, so it's going to be a learning curve for everybody. See Tyler Bellinger, your fastest in practice out on track. Take a lap around this facility with this 88. I'm underneath the 2 machine of Andrew Short, your P2 in practice, actually. Saw him yawn out that truck a little bit out of 4. 3 and 4 is going to be tricky here. I think 1 and 2 is kind of the easier spot on the track to run where you kind of want to. You can run the bottom, you can run the wall if you want. But 3 and 4 has that big bump from the tunnel underneath it. and it can make it pretty tricky to push that truck and get the time out of it without it yawing out like you saw the 88 do there. Just under 4 minutes left in practice. See this 88 looking underneath the one. Jim Mott up in the P14, actually faster than Corey right now. So Dad on top right now here in the practice session at least. Jim did not have the best Daytona, but ready to come back here for week 2. Gonna make something happen here at Homestead. Ryan tapped into 6 up into the top 10 in practice. Ryan did some leading last week at Daytona. Showed to have some potential. Just did not get the deal sealed. Speaking of Daytona, last week's winner, Joe Gibbons, you see him on that 8 AC Delco machine right now, currently P16. Has not found the speed in that truck right now. 34.7 is his fastest lap compared to like someone like Tyler Bellinger, 33.9. So almost a second off of the fastest time in practice, but we'll see what Joe can do. Lee Hamby, can he turn his luck around? He was fast at Charlotte, got taken out in the restart. Was leading laps, was up there in the top 3 at Daytona, got taken out in that big wreck. Ended up leaving early, parking that truck up. Can Lee make something happen at Homestead? And now currently P7. Came up there right against the wall, trying to make that wall work here in 1 and 2. I'm not sure if, you talk about at Homestead, that Homestead's one of the most interesting tracks that you come into here on the sim, because you can kind of go wherever you want. If you want to go up there and run the top, you can, but if you want to go and run the bottom, you can, right? But with these trucks, I'm not sure if that's the case, right? These things are kind of bogged down a little bit, right? Where I don't know if the top will be faster. Maybe on a long run and you can get it to stick up there, you might be able to take advantage of the momentum you get off the top. But I think like at the start of the race where the tires are going to be nice and fresh and gripped up, and the bottom's going to just be the way that you want to go. Like you look at Charlotte where it was borderline a super speedway, right? And now I feel like in some aspects, Charlotte's harder to drive than Homestead. I think regardless if you want to run the bottom just the way just the way Homestead's set up, you're going to have to lift through on entry regardless if you want to run the top or the bottom. But we'll see. But just under a minute left in practice. With that all said and done, it looks like this 88 will be your fastest at practice. Tyler Bellinger, welcome back to the Sportsman Truck Series. And we'll see you in qualifying. Let Cody Simmons, that John Deere machine. Then I have the best Daytona. Currently is sitting 17th in practice. Hopefully he can find a little bit more pace in qualifying. Get ready to get your qualifying underway. Let's go on board with. Yeah, let's go. Let's do it. Let's go on board with the 911 machine. Cody Simmons. On his first lap. Let's see what he can do here. Gonna get up and get on that wall. Gonna arc it down. Exit on the bottom. Gonna drift back up the track. Cody Simmons, a 34.601. That's good enough for your pull. Now Tyler Bellinger up to the your pull, 34.347. Lee Hamby out on track. Lee Hamby coming to the line. 34.163. That's good enough for P3. Just under a tenth slower than Garth Griswold. And now your pull sitter. Great lap. 34.146. Wow. Michael Deitch out on his outlap. Everybody electing to run the top. So maybe you are full throttle on this top and you're going to have to lift on the bottom. Because everybody I've seen has been pretty comfortably running the top. To the line. If that's your 35.52, good enough for 15th. Let's have another lap. But I do feel like here the first lap might be a little bit quicker. See what Deitch can do though. You see him, he is lifting in the corners. He actually dragged the brake a little bit right there. .37. Improved, but not enough to gain any positions. We'll have Xander Short on track that is yet to qualify. Bill Martin Sr. and Alan Phillips still yet to settle out, but with 40 odd seconds left in qualifying, not going to be enough to set a time. So Garth Griswold going to lead you to green here from the pole. Great lap by him, a 34.144. Bellinger with the 152, and Lee Hamby with the 163. So really tight for that pole. Really tight for that first three. And then we go back down to James Hebert with the 34.366. With that all said and done, qualifying is under wraps. And we'll get ready to get this race underway.
All restarts are on the green flag. And, yeah, like I said last week, I mean, last week was obviously Daytona, so we're expecting a little more wrecking there, but now we're on the normal track, so let's, try and give each other space. It's going to be a hot track out here, so just keep that in mind. Homestead's always one of the looser ones you'll go to, so try not to shear your right rear off and keep it on to you. 167 laps, so it's quite a long time. Good luck. Have fun.
From the boss man himself, Corey Mott. We'll get our starting lineup underway here. Garth Griswold going to be your pole sitter for tonight's race. Tyler Bellinger going to round out row 1. Lee Hamby, James Herbert going to round out row 2. Lucas Edwards and Mateus Marcamini. We're going to butcher that one all race. He's going to round out row 3. Ray Gill, Jay Salmon for 7th and 8th. Rounding out your top 10, Ryan Taft and Cody Simmons. Corey Mott, that number 9, going to be P11 with Ted Libsby, P12. Rounding out row 7, Joe Gibbons, Jonathan Ledger. Michael Deitch, Jim Mott. Xander Short, Alan Phillips, and rounding out your top 20 is going to be in row 10, Bill Martin Sr. Taking a look at your track facts presented by Delta Eagle Designs here at Homestead. Obviously here in Homestead, Florida. 1.5 miles with bankings in the corners. Go check him out over on X at Delta Eagle 84. But just like that, pace cars off, and we're going to be green flag racing here at Homestead. Turn 4, it's going to be that number 3 of Garth Griswold. Going to lead that first lap. You're already starting to see everybody starting to move around on the racetrack, trying to figure out where they want to go. What's the fastest lane? See Garth running in the middle lane, but you see that 88 Bellinger gains a lot of time on the bottom. Now looking to the bottom of this number 3 machine. Garth tries to defend. He's going to run that top. Going to try to get the run off the corner. Ooh, Bellinger has to lift out of the throttle. It's going to allow the 3 to clear back. We take the race lead. Lucas Edwards in P3. See, all of a sudden, Lee Hamby, he's going to try the stop lane. And a rim ride. Now at least get him side by side with Mateus here in this 924 machine. Ooh, Lee's going to kind of cut the nose off of... There's that 921 James Hebert. Gonna try to take a dive at this 914. I don't know if we're going to get the drive off the corner once again. Will he clear? Yes, he will. Now everybody kind of single file for now. We already have a big breakaway. You see Jay Salmon out here about 9 tenths off, but then we have about a 1.5 gap back here to Ray Gill, Xander Short. Xander up 8 spots from the start. I know Xander was going to be quick. They decided not to set a qualifying time. It'll last the first challenge for this number 2 machine. Xander underneath the 23. I'm interested to see, like, oh, the 23's in the wall. That's going to allow Xander to clear. I'm interested to see whether this top line is going to be better for the tires or this bottom. I feel like you can go full throttle on the top, and it is just a longer way around the track. I feel like that will hurt you in the long run. We have some battling back in the back. Ryan Taft going underneath the one of Jim Mott. He's going to take the 17th place away. Up ahead of him, we have a little battle. Ted Lisby going to go underneath the 98 of Jonathan Ledger. Trying to get his way into the top 15. Ledger going to use that top, get the run off the wall, and to clear that 44. Alan Phillips up 6 spots from where he started. Trying to run down this 99 machine. That's Corey Mott. Corey has not been able to advance positions from where he started, but I'm going to look at this kind of number 99 at what to do to save these tires. I feel like we haven't seen the best pace out of this number 99, especially in practice. We saw him down outside the top 10 on the charts. But there's something I will always look at, and it's, Corey's always going to be that guy who's going to take care of his stuff. And when the cars aren't driving, oh, there's contact in front of him. But when the cars start to not handle well, we'll start to see the number 99 drive through the field because he just saved his equipment a little bit better. He's going to have a little bit more life in those tires. Michael Deitch behind underneath the 8 of Joe Gibbons. I feel like you're going to see that a lot. Ooh, Deitch super sideways out of the corner. And allow Jonathan Ledger to take a peek on the top. Ledger's going to have to run off. As long as he can keep that car underneath him. Should be able to at least try to challenge. Deitch going to pull up. There's lots of battles outside the top 10. Guys trying to drive through the field, try to get through the pack. Ledger's going to try to negotiate around this 17. Yes, he will. Joe Gibbons trying to get around the 99. Corey just does not want to use that top lane. I think he thinks he knows that. I don't know if I wouldn't say it's unfair to know this, but he's making the sets for this league, so he probably knows that if you go in that top, you will burn yourself up a little bit quicker. Corey just doesn't want to use up his stuff yet. He's okay going in that bottom line, trying to save his equipment. Good racing everywhere on the track, but going back up to your race leader, he still has a tailgate full of this top 4. Garth been able to keep the lead, but has not been able to pull away from the rest of the pack. There's a battle for the P3 position. Tyler Bellinger trying to run the top, and here comes Lee Hamby on the bottom. Going to pinch him up, trying to negate that run he gets off the corner. But Lee couldn't do anything of it. Idiot's going to clear once again. Starting to see some of these guys get a little bit more aggressive when it comes to taking positions and trying to reel the leader back in. Everybody on top of each other when it comes to lap times. Everybody within, the middle nines to low zeros when it comes to lap times. So 34 nines to 35 flats. As Andy Short has gotten through most of the field, but now has about a 2.5 second gap to get to Jay Salmon back there and up there in P7. Xander has decided to go up here and rip this wall. I think maybe there's a little bit of pace up here. If you want to know how to save tires, this is exactly what to do. It doesn't really matter what line you're on. Obviously, the tires are going to be a little bit more hot up here on the top. Just it's a farther way to go, but look how smooth Xander is on the wheel. He's on it just a little bit just to feel out the grip. And you don't see him making big, aggressive, moves on the wheel. It's just really smooth into the corner. You'll see him just smoothly get into the corner. He's going to try the bottom this time. And he's turning the car with the pedals. You'll see him making any big, aggressive, turns. Smooth in, smooth out. That's how you save tires. That's how you keep yourself in the race. And you see him up there. They're battling up there for that P7 spot. You see Jay trying to get around Mateus for that P6 position. '67. Oh man, super sideways. And allow Mateus to keep the spot. What a save by the 67 to keep that thing underneath him. Mateus also wants someone who just really likes getting up there on the wall. We watch the battle for the lead now. Bellinger getting pushed by the 87. He was going to try to use the top. Not going to be enough. Crossover. Arthur's going to give this up easily. So now 3 to the inside, 88 on the top. As well as forced to back up his corner. Bellinger's going to get the run off the top. Clear once again for the race lead. The 3. Super sideways. Is Lucas Edwards going to take advantage as well as Lee Hamby. Edwards with the run off the top, gonna clear the 3. And Hamby's gonna try to follow this 87 through. Lee trying the middle. I feel like this is one of the first drivers to try this kind of middle line. And if he can figure out how to make it work, it can be really good at keeping pace, but also saving tire. As these guys start the battle, it's allowed Tyler Bellinger to slowly get away. Now let's open this up to 7/10 of a second over your P2 driver of Lucas Edwards. Back here. Amby, Griswold, and now Hebert duking it out for this podium position. Wow, an aggressive move by the 3. We get up in front of Hebby. You now see the Ebert get in front of these two. So while those two are battling, This 921. We're just sitting back there, biding this time, maybe saving his tires a little bit. Got a 2-for-1 move done. Now put him up into the P3 position. It's still the closest battle on track, but I feel like you're going to start to see these guys start to kind of spread out a little bit. Is Bellinger using his stuff up a little bit too much? Is Edwards just kind of back here sitting there, riding and trying to find pace? And now last lap for Bellinger, 35.3 versus Edwards is 35.6, so 0.3 of a second quicker. Is that 88? Does Bellinger know that maybe the tire fall off isn't as bad as we think? And he knows that he can just get away and push his car as hard as we can. Versus Lucas, who maybe he's trying to save his equipment a little bit. Now Lucas has a tailgate full of this 921. He's really started to come alive these last 10 laps. Gonna take a look underneath. Side by side for the P2 spot. 87 gets into the wall, but is going to still have a decent run off. Going to give that spot away. I think it's smart. I think this 921 is either pushing or just has a little bit better tire. If I'm 87, if I'm trying to save my stuff or if I'm just trying to hold on, there's no need in trying to really be defensive here with only 25 laps complete. Now that 87 is going to lose another spot. '87 underneath Hamby, trying to make it somewhat of a fight. But Hamby's going to get the run off the top, take away that that third place spot from the 87. And Bellinger continuing to pull away. We do have a little bit of a dogfight out for this, right inside the top 10. Phillips gets around Ray Gill. And Phillips trying to drive his way through the field, up 9 spots. Staying there short. Up in 7th, they started to reel in Salmon. See him in that 4 shot. The taste has started to fall off as well. This is really showing us up in the booth and here to your fans at home, and probably to the drivers, that you can push the truck pretty hard, but you see that the tires do fall off and you do get punished if you use your stuff up too quickly. You saw Edwards, he fell back to P4. Mateus, who was battling for the lead, back to P8. And now it's into short. One of the fastest cars on track right now. Bellinger ran a 35.7. Landed with a 35.6. See him try to get around this 67. Lander's one of the only trucks I've seen that can make time and you know, continue to keep pace on the top. We'll go inside of Damon's box. To go back and remember, this is why Xander's better right now. Jay's a great driver, but you see, he's making little micro corrections, trying to drive this car in a little bit harder. But Captain to get out of the gas, he's pushing up, making micro corrections, trying to, turning the wheel a little bit to the right, keeping it out of the wall. And that slowly burns your stuff off. Xander up 11 spots. Alan Phillips back there up 10. These two by far your biggest movers of the race. And now Xander has him one up until that 38 can catch up to Salmon. Battle outside the top 10 for this P11 spot. P12 spot, my apologies. Ed Linsby underneath Ryan Taft. Gonna make the pass work. Ryan Taft with not enough of a run to try to cross him over. Six will try to drive it in. And when you drive it in, you gotta back up your exit. Exactly what happened. With a close battle, Alan Phillips, Ray Gill, trying to run this car back down. Remember, Phillips drove past this 23 earlier in the race. Ray, maybe he knew what he was doing. Now he's starting to run down this 38 just a little bit. They're basically matching lap times. So 1:36.15 to a 36.13. Battle for the lead is starting to heat up. James Herbert has ran down your race leader, Bellinger. I was looking at the time screen, and it went from 8/10 all the way down to under half a second. Is there something wrong with this 88 machine? Or has the tire just given up? He's running comparable lap times to the rest of the field, but Herbert has just come to life here. Over 1/10.5 quicker each lap. Now he's going to try to run this top to try to defend the best he can. But this 921 has come alive late in this run. You see how squirrely both these trucks are, even down the straight. Bellinger doing all the defensive moves he can to keep this guy behind him. The runs have started to stall out, though. As I say that, here comes the 9-1. Tyler's tried to run the bottom, and it's kind of stalled out this second place driver. I don't know, maybe James just doesn't want to run the top to try to give it a shot. You got to go where he's not, if it's me. Well, you see the 88 kind of wash up. Gonna give this 9-1 a little bit of a run. Gonna go for it. Gonna get side by side on the exit. 88 has to push wide. Is that enough? He does. He clears him. James Hebert to the lead. Idiot gonna look underneath. 91's gonna have to run though, but gonna stay side by side. The 88's gonna turn the 9-1. I don't think that was intentional. I think you saw that. Oh, save it, driver. I don't think that was intentional at all from that 88. Looking at it, we'll go back and take a look at it as we're looking for this. I do not think that was intentional at all, but we'll. Just looks like the 88 trying to side draft. Makes some contact and gets in the left rear of the of Hamby. I'm not of Hamby, of James here. And this is a classy to see out of this 88. He sees it. He saw he turned him. And you see this 88. He's gonna park it right here. Like, I messed up. Let's try to give him the opportunity to save this truck. And luckily, no harm, no foul. I don't see any damage on either of these machines, so I don't think that was intentional or anything out of that 88. But that will bring a caution out. And that will bring everybody to the pit road as well. 44 laps on these tires. There's no doubt in my mind we see everybody come pit side. No one is pit yet, so everybody on equal sets of tires. And here they come. That's exactly something that Zane the Short wanted. Zane the Short right there in that P4 position. Up all the way back up there. I don't know if maybe he got some from position from that caution. But what a drive by that number 2 machine to get up there. And their first out. He's going to get up to P2. Zane the Short, what a pit stop. Lucas Edwards P3. Lee Hamby P4. And James Hebert back there P5 now. As we get ready to go, we're going to go ahead and take a quick commercial break while we get the time to. And we'll hear from our partners over at iRacing real quick.
Racing isn't easy, but experiencing it is. iRacing puts you in the driver's seat with the industry's leading sim racing game. Drive on laser scan replicas of the greatest racing circuits from around the world. Go head-to-head against other drivers chosen by skill-based matchmaking to ensure competitive racing at every level. Compete across all your favorite series. In officially licensed cars, engineered to deliver the most accurate driving experience possible. Join a race or host your own with players from across the globe. Race against the computer or in a league with friends. Feel the thrill behind the wheel. Visit iRacing.com.
Welcome back to Homestead, your top 5. Bellinger, Shore, Edwards, Hamby, and Hubbard. But you do see the lights off on the pace track. Means we are 1 to go. You see him take that hard left on the pit road. And the 88 and that 2 are going to lead us back to green here at Homestead. Coming into the restart zone. We're back green here from Homestead. Andy Short already making aggressive moves, and he's going to clear for the race lead. Andy Short first, last to first. What a move. Lucas Edwards trying to take advantage of this. Back there side by side, Alan Phillips trying to get around the 3 of Garth Griswold. He's going to make that move happen. Now all single file for 7, 8 cars. Here comes the 921 once again underneath Hamby. You know, James is going to be hungry to get back up there to the front. Had the race lead and made some contact with the 88. 88 made contact with him. Now he's back here trying to battle for this P4 position. Oh, 87 and Lucas Edwards a little bit of sideways. Been great racing up here for the top 5 all race. Oh, a little contact. Lucas being forced to use that top lane. But look at him trying to make a peak. He's gonna be forced to push that 88 out. 88 with a big block down the backstretch. And 87 doing everything he can to pinch that inside lane down. We know this outside is faster on the start, but it does burn the stuff up. So I think that 87 wants to get clear as soon as he can. Not gonna be able to do it yet. Wow, he's gonna drive it into the corner. Try to get side by side with this 88. Super sideways once again out of 4. Ebert, I'm looking back at him. You see these guys going side by side. You're just gonna see him sit back, maintain this truck, and while these guys are burning their stuff off, he said, I'm just gonna sit back here, hang out, make a move if I need to. Is the wrecking in the back? Be a faceful of that 911 machine. See what happened. Oh, Joe Gibbons, last week's winner. Off the nose of the 911 machine. See if we can get a different look at that from our chopper cam, maybe. Yeah, that 911, I don't know. It looks like you might get a little squirrely. Yeah, look at that. You see that rear end kind of yacht out, and he's trying to save it, save it, save it, and the truck just comes down off the corner, gets into Joe. And just that contact, he's gonna hook Mateus. They're gonna impound that inside wall. That's something that can happen here. I mean, we talked about how easy it is to yacht the car and how easy it is to get that car upset. And we just saw right there. And then definitely didn't look intentional by Cody right there. Just got a little sideways, tried to walk it down the track, and unfortunately, the number 8 was there. At 53 of 167 complete. Not quite to our halfway mark yet. We still have to go another about 30-ish laps. But 8 laps on this since that last caution. I don't think we'll see a lot of drivers go out of their way to pit. And now Billy Martin Sr. and Cody Simmons, who was involved in that wreck, out of the car. I don't know if they've called it a night. Looked like Cody didn't have that much damage. I don't imagine anybody coming down pit side. If anything, the tires are pretty warm now and up to speed. This is probably the best these tires are going to be for a little bit. In 8 laps under them, running pretty hard. Saying hello to everybody over at our Twitch chat and our YouTube chat. Hope everybody's having a great Sunday. The one, day of the week that we don't have racing. Obviously the NASCAR Cup Series happened yesterday there at Echo Park Motor Speedway, or Atlanta, whatever everybody wants to call it. And Xander Short, our race leader, he's back. About to say, I hope he didn't lose connection to the server. And I'm glad everybody's here on Sunday. Watching some good old-fashioned racing here in the Truck Series. And for this top 5, we've seen a heck of a good fight to be up here inside the top 5. Hopefully Xander can get his internet under control. Because if he continues to blink, I could see that potentially some race admins telling him to potentially follow the back if he's going to continue to blink like this. But hopefully everybody's having a good night. Hopefully everybody's enjoying the show. These guys have put on a heck of a show here for these first 54 laps. And we'll see if they can continue to do that. You see the pace car hook a hard left turn once again, going into the Geico restart zone. And we're green once again. You already see that 88 dip out of line. Tyler Bellinger going to take a leak underneath the 87. That was very similar to what, that number 2 of, he's going to slide up in front of the 87. That's textbook move of what that 2 did to him. But he's going to try to see if he could do that to someone else. But now side by side for the P3 position, 904 versus that 87. Emby's going to clear the 87 for that spot. 87's going to try to get down. And he will. Now all single file out through the top 5, even top 6. Alan Phillips up here into the top 6. At 38 started all the way back in 18th place. Up inside the top 6 now. Great drive for Alan Phillips. Because now we have a huge battle for this P3 position. And kind of these 3 cars going back at it. Back and forth as here comes the 914 underneath the 88 of Tyler Bellinger. Side by side for second, side by side for fourth. Lee Hamby's going to get up and clear, but here comes a crossover from the 88. And hopefully going to try to rip the wall. Going to clear that 88 right now. He's going to have to run off. He's going to have to get back in line. He does. Everybody's looking really racy out of the gate here. You got to think, who's saving their stuff? We showed how bad the tire wear was at the start of this race. When we got back into the 20, 30-ish lap range, you start to see a lot of guys start to fall back quick. And Bellinger got out to almost a 2-second lead and got ran down by the guy who just passed him within a matter of, 10 laps. He closed all the way back down and took the lead away. Oh, the 88's going to get a shot from the 84. The 84's got a tailgate full of the 38. Alan Phillips trying to make his way through the field. With that little bit of checkup, that's allowed the second pack. Garth Griswold, Ray Gill, Jay Salmon. They put themselves slightly into the picture. Garth qualified on the pole. Just hasn't been able to have the speed. Here comes the 23, Ray Gill. Gonna try to make this top work to get around Griswold. Take over this P7 spot. 23 is gonna get in the wall. That's gonna kill his run. Side by side going into 1 and 2. He's gonna get in the wall again. But somehow it keeps the momentum up. Side by side out of 2. And somehow that 23 clears the 3 machine. Wow. Maybe hitting that wall kind of scrubbed the speed off enough to get him set up for the exit. Now he's up into the P7 position. Going to try to run down these race leaders. Still side by side back here. Xander Short lost the lead to Lee Hamby. And here comes James Hebert to take over that P2 position. I think this will be a learning experience for Xander here in this number 2 machine. The first time he's really been up front. All race. You know, he started at, he didn't qualify when he had the opportunity to. Had to drive through the field. He was kind of forced to push as hard as he could. Versus now that he has the track position, I think he just pushed that out of the gate. And you're starting to see now that he saw, okay, I don't really have to push as hard as I did at the start of the race. I can kind of sit back here, try to save my equipment, try to run these guys back down when it counts. And we're starting to get into that range where the tires will start to show. Now going into the 20 laps on this stint. Obviously, a couple of those laps were under caution. I'd say about 15-ish laps on these tires that we ran green. So it's a matter of time before you start to see who saved their stuff, who did. But this top 5 has consistently stayed the same. Hamby, Herbert, once Shorts got back up here, he stayed in here. Bellinger and Lucas Edwards have really been up here all race. And Alan Phillips is kind of that guy who's also driven through the field like Xander. to put himself in there in the P6, but still very well within this top 6 pack. Ray Gill got around, he's hanging back there in 7th. D. Salmon been up here inside the top 10 all race. Grace Wald's starting to fall back though. No, starting on the pole, has not been able to find that same speed that he had at qualifying and transferred it over into the race. And Ryan Taft been back there in 10th. Quiet day for that 6 machine. Started 9th. We have a battle for the lead. Everett has passed Xander Short and is starting to put the attack on our race leader of Lee Hamby. That's one thing I'll say is that James here in the second place, he's been the one driver who has always been looking around, trying to find something different compared to everybody else. You don't really see him sitting in line. You see him, you know, if the leader or the guy in front of him is running the top, he'll try to run a lane below. If they're running the bottom, he'll run a lane up, try to get that clean air on that nose. And here he comes on the bottom trying to make something happen. Leader is going to get a run off the top. Not going to be enough for anything to make. But these two are starting to slowly kind of run away from Xander Short. And he's still there within striking distance. But they put a little bit of a gap. Just a little one, not a big one. Let's get in the top 6 under a blanket. Alan Phillips in that 38, the last in this little 6-car train. Corey Mott working his way up into the top 10. He's going to try to run down Garth, Jay, and Ray. But now Corey running within the same 10th of the leaders when it comes to lap times, but so is everybody else. Right? Having not the best time right now. He ran at 5, which is everybody else who's running 2, so see if he can pick up the pace a little bit. It's still hard battling up here inside this top 6. Nobody getting away from anybody else. Then they're going to peek up top. Trying to use the top. And they keep the spot, but they did lose him a little bit of time. I'm starting to see these guys up here, at least in the top 4, start to experiment. Try to figure out what's the best line. But Lee continuing to even pull away just a little bit. Up to 0.3 of a second. And we are getting to that time of the stage where tires do matter. 28 laps now. So if Lee did a better job, he will continue to pull away. Xander Short. Find something different. He got that top to work in that first run. Seeing if maybe he could try it now, but that's allowed the Tyler Bellinger to peek underneath him. Bellinger's gonna clear. And the Short just elects to push that 88 down the straight. Xander's gonna get in the wall. Huge in the wall. That's going to drop him back out of the top 5. He might even lose that lead pack. And that's the danger of running the top. You overdo it just a little bit, and you see how much time he just lost right there. He went from P3 back to P6. No, I would say within 3/10 back to outside of half a second now. Bellinger takes a look underneath of James for this P2 position. Going to be side by side. We saw this before. Bellinger's going to clear. And this time I think Tyler did a better job saving his tires. It's so hard to stay disciplined when you're this quick and you know you have a fast truck to save your stuff. It's so hard to be like, you know what, let me back it off and maybe go a tenth slower this lap. Save my stuff. It's so hard to do that as a driver because you just train and your brain wants you to just go as hard as you can all the time. But if you're not getting everything you can out of that truck, you're not going fast, right? But it does it. But this is where you see where the discipline comes in, where you see the tire saving comes into play. You see the 88 slowly running down your race leader, and now it is starting to get a little bit spread out. Ooh, you see the 88 in the wall though. Can't be doing that. See, that's when you can tell that the 88 just has a little bit better tire, so you can sit down there and run the bottom a lot easier than Lee can. See, the Lee tries to go down there and run it, but loses a lot of speed in the center doing that, allowing the 88 to maybe take a peek on the inside as here he comes. Oh, contact! Contact between the 88 and the 914. That's going to give a free position to Hebert. Lee probably isn't too happy about that. And that's almost a copy and paste what happened with him and James here. Got into him, drove it in the corner, got into him. And luckily, Lee saved that car. And now Bellinger back out in front once again. And once again, Hebert starting to run him down. Just a little bit. Out for the P3 position after that whole scuffle for the lead. Lucas Edwards trying to get around this Hamby machine. Alan Phillips. So they're sitting in the top 5 now. This is the furthest up this 38 has been. You see that? Yep, high as 5th. But good for Alan. Now we know he's a pretty solid race car driver and can put himself in good situations. Looks like he has a little bit faster truck than this 87. Just needs to be patient, do what he needs to. Within any lap, I could see him getting side by side for this P4 spot. Side by side. Gonna make the pass work, but the 87 cannot cross him over. I think that truck is just a little bit too snug to turn left and go and try to cross him over there. Looks like the 87 had to run, but just could not get the truck rotated enough to get underneath him. Had the lift. Now Alan Phillips up to the P4 spot. While we get the time, we'll look at your race weather. You're not going to do that during the pre-race. 75 degrees. Little to no wind. 5 miles an hour is coming out in the northeast. Partly cloudy here in Homestead, Florida. So, ooh. 87 tried to take a peek there. 83, 38 cut his nose off. But great weather for some racing here at Homestead. We look at your track temp right now. 87 degrees on track, so a little bit hotter than, you know, your normal track temp here. Usually the generic track temp is around 75, but just a little bit warmer. But look at this. James Hebert once again saved his stuff a little bit better and has ran back down the race leader of Tyler Bellinger. We've seen this before. Lee Hamby's also ran these guys back down. Actually, Lee, your fastest car that lap out of these three. Once again, your fastest car out of these three. 9.315 and 9.0 lap times for these three. That last lap. Ooh, Bellinger. Whew, painting that wall. We've crossed the halfway point in this race. We're about to, actually, in about 2 laps or so. But the fight for the lead continues to battle on. But once again, we saw this before. Bellinger's going to do everything he can to keep this lead. And they drive defensively as he can. Now we're going to look low. But we've seen before that top's the best defensive line you can have if you can run it well. You get such a good launch down the straightaway. So much more speed down the straight. Everett's going to run that middle line now. Going to try to build a run. Get back to the leader. Hamby gonna make a look underneath the P2 driver. If I'm Hamby, I'm gonna help this. I'm gonna, whether it's pushing him or just giving him the space, I want him to go up there and battle that leader. And you sit back and watch. Take opportunity where you can. But the second you start the battle, this 9.21 per second, it's just gonna allow Tyler to maybe save his stuff or just keep the lead, right? Keep the clean air. And we've now officially crossed the halfway point of the race. These guys just cannot get away from each other. Have a battle back here now for the 4th place spot. Lee Hamby has gotten ran down by Xander Short and Jay Salmon. Xander found that top as, oh, green flag pit stops underway. Alan Phillips, Jay Salmon under downside. We have gone about 46 laps. Go back up here for the race for the lead once again. Well, I'll be interested to see how these leaders react to these guys coming out pit road. I figured they're not going to wait too much longer. Here comes Hebert. Ooh, can he get a lockdown in time? I see no black flag. Maybe lost a lot of time trying to negotiate around Hebert trying to pit. So if I'm Hamby now, I pit now. You lost some time. I'm down pit road. Has to stay out. So Bellinger continues to lead. He gives Griswold the P3 position as him and Edwards pits. I'll give the third place back to Ryan Taft. How long does your front two stay out? Are they hoping for a caution? These stops are slow enough that they can do this and potentially try to trap some guys lap down right now. Like Garth Griswold coming out of pit road now. All these guys are lap down. So these guys are hoping for a caution, I presume. Do have some battling back here for guys who have already pitted. Both three-way battles. Andy Short, Alan Phillips, Jay Salmon. That's Ray Gill in that 23. Has worked his way back up into this fight. And there's the leaders right in front of them right there. That's Lee. That's Bellinger. Like, I'd be pitting this time if I was them. Here comes both of them. Your hope was to trap them a lap down. They're going to unlap themselves. Might as well come down pit road. I'll hand over the race lead to Ryan Taft. Unless he decides to come down pit side. Well, he's going to stay out and lead a lap. Michael Deitch has yet to pit. He's in that P2 position. And Mateus back there third. Because Andy Short is going to easily get around these guys. I mean, they're going to be losing a lot of time long pitting here. And they're going to be 5 seconds off. Lee Hamby just coming out of the pits. I mean, he is... There must have been a mistake on that stop. 46.7 second stop for Hamby. Yeah, almost 8 seconds slower than Tyler Bellinger. I mean, he's almost 6 seconds behind Xander Short. He needs this run to go out as long as it can. He even wants a shot to run down those leaders. Xander Short started to pull away from Alan Phillips, Jay Salmon, Ray Gill, Corey Mott. In green flag pit stops, this is where races are won. This is where championships are made. We just saw right there why Xander is one of the best here at Crown Jewel. Had by far the best pit stop. And pitted at the right time. It's not only the pit stop, it's the timing of the pit stop, right? He came down, reacted, came down at the right time, and is now sitting there. Look, this is Ryan Taft, who already came down pit side and needs to warm those tires up. Here comes Mateus Michael Deitch down pit side. Now hand your race lead over to Andy Short. Ryan Taft trying to stay on the lead lap. It's going to be a challenge for Xander to get around some of these lap cars. These lappers know that they can run the top. And get the run off. It's going to make it harder for Xander to pass these lap cars. But I have a feeling this pit strategy is going to be a little bit different this last run, right? They came in about 10 laps ago, so lap 90, so they could easily split this race in half. It's about 70 laps, 75 laps. So they could go like 30, 30, 30, you know, 35, 35. But they could run that out, that full 40, 50 lap run. But also with that, you know, without a caution at least, there's another opportunity for some of these guys up front to make a mistake and give the race away to someone else. Andy Short having some issues getting around the slap traffic. It's allowed the 38 of Alan Phillips to keep in touch with the number 2. Hey, Salmon up here into the P3 spot. Tyler Bellinger still back there, 5 seconds behind your race leader, but does have 5 lap pressure tires. See him navigating around some of these slower vehicles. You see him getting around Corey Mott for the P5 position. Corey Mott gonna look underneath, not gonna give up on this fight. 88 decides to run the top. You have Deitch in front, Ray Gill in front. One is a lap car, one is for position. As the 88 is running down your leader, but is he burning his stuff up to get there? Is there going to be enough time for him to catch, pass, and pull away? As you see, actually, Ray Gill putting a block on the 88. So the 88's loose. Wow. I thought that was a red car for a second. Riegel tried everything he could to keep him behind him, but that 88's got fresher tires, and he's got to go. Tyler lost a lot of time that lap. Andy Short last lap 35 flat, and Bellinger in at 35.3. Just trying to get around some of those guys. I wish I had a graphic that would show last lap times compared to everybody else, but fortunately this sticker does not have that. I think it'd be really good insight. Great go. Once again, now getting pressure from the 87. Lucas Edwards trying to drive his way back up here to a top 5 position. 87 gonna look low. This 87 needs to make this pass quick. If they keep fighting, there's that number 3 in the background waiting in the wings to take advantage and take position. 87 is loose. Wow, he's gonna make the pass still. That's not what you want to do to those Goodyear tires. Here comes the 3 now. Garth, as I said, was being patient. Now gonna take advantage. Gonna try to get around this 87. 87 pinching that 3 all the way down. I'm gonna try to make it work here. They try to slide up. Here comes 87 with the crossover. '87 not gonna be on the inside. This is what I love about Homestead, is you can run that top, get a good runoff, and set up that guy for the next corner. Cross him over, set him up, and then you're on the bottom. And then he can get a run off the top and cross you back over. It's just such good racing here at the Homestead-Miami Speedway. Tyler Bellinger, as we were talking about that, got around Jay Salmon. Putting himself up into the P3 position. Now, within 3 seconds of the leader. That's going to be a big learning lesson. Can this 88 get around there before we get into that pit window, which is going to be around, I would say, lap 40, well, around 45, 50 to go, which isn't that long. Can Bellinger get back? Because this shows that long pitting is the way to go. And I was like, I thought he was crazy coming out 8 seconds behind the leaders. And if he can get back in about 10 more laps, I think it's a win. I think it's an option to wait a little bit longer and try to run back through the field. But if he cannot get back there, maybe if he gets stuck around this, second and a half, 2 seconds behind, looks like he's having some trouble with Michael Deitch, then maybe it's not worth it. Lee Hamby, who was favorite to win, back here 10 and a half seconds off the pace. Not the race he wanted at all. Bad luck strikes again for that Hamby machine. Oh, someone in the wall. That's Jim Mott. Huge damage. I'm gonna keep it up there. Not bring out the caution. But that right front is all destroyed on that number 1 Bush Apple machine. Corey back there just telling him, hey Dad, just pit it. Get that damage fixed. He's gonna try to limp it around. Back here, Tyler Bellinger has that lead cut underneath 2 seconds now. If I'm in the position 38 now, I let him go. You cannot hold him up. You force him to go up there and race your race leader. Use both their stuff up, right? To see if you can go run him back down. That's exactly what he did. Tyler Bellinger up to P2. Last time, if he could run him down in the next 10 laps, he might get him within the next 5 at this pace. A 0.6 to a 0.3. And he's closing in within a second. While we wait on them to figure out what's going to go on, battle for 6th. Lucas Edwards, Garth Griswold once again. Haven't settled this fight out yet. I just haven't been able to negotiate around this 87 yet. I think he has the better car, but just has not found a way. They both pitted on the same lap. Remember, they both pitted together at that, actually, so. So regardless, good run for Garth, good run for Lucas. Back in 6th and 7th, it looks like they are slowly running down. Corey Mott in that 5th place spot. Corey sneaking his way for a P5 through this track position. Really good call for him. Now we're getting within the fuel window to come down and take some good fresh Goodyear tires, top us on some Sunoco fuel. He might turn this race around, this number 99 machine. But here we are. This 88 is here. Underneath the second here. Now, I don't know what this 2 could do to really keep him back. And he's consistently running around 2/10 quicker a lap. Now, I know Xander, he's not going to pull over. Just let him have it. Xander's a racer at heart. He can do everything he can to keep this guy behind him. So the gamble for Bellinger paid off. Not only did he get there, he got there before the green flag, you know, before we get to that fuel window. How can this number 2 hold on? Who's going to run the bottom? This 88 is going to run the top. Oh, here comes Andy Short down pit road. He said, I got caught. I might as well come down and pit. Not going to even fight it. But Bellinger going to take the race lead over. Now what does Bellinger do, right? Does he run it long again and hope that he can do the same thing? Or does he pit with the race leader? He's going to pit with Xander. Here comes the 88. That gives the race lead over to Salmon. I'm surprised to see that 88 do that. I really am. Andy Short with a really good pit stop. He's about to unlap himself. Bellinger coming out of pit road right now. Here comes Andy Short around him in that 2 machine. So Bellinger's gonna have a little bit of time to get back. It's all said and done. About a second and a half he lost, hitting that lap later. Here comes Jay Salmon down pit road. along with Ray. Along with Alan Phillips, my apologies. Looking at the timing and scoring. Looking at Ray, he's in the battle right now with the 99 of Corey Mott. They just came down Pit Road. Corey just coming out. Ray came back down pit side 5 laps ago. Ray does have a little bit of heat in those tires. I'm trying to make a move on the outside of this number 99 machine. So lots of drivers of pit. Everybody within the top 4 will have to come down pit road. That's Lee Hamby. Lucas Edwards, who is down pit side. Lisby and Ryan Taft, who is slow. I think he's going to come back up. Maybe getting out of the way of the faster cars into short. Line hoping for a caution. Zander's going to pass him for position. Here comes Bellinger to get around the 6 machine. Here comes Lee Hamby down pit road. It certainly made this a 2-car race. It's going to be between the 2 and the 88. William Mott pitted on the same lap and is 4 seconds behind. No, 6 seconds behind Bellinger. Him and Ray Giller within close proximity. We're going to see some of these guys with fresher tires start to reel them in. Alan Phillips, Jay Salmon, Lucas Edwards, Garth Griswold right there in the wings to take advantage of these older tires. His caution's out. Because we have a wreck between the leaders. Oh my gosh. What happened to the number 2 car? Oh, man. The 921 trying to pit. That's James Heber. He was in contention. I don't know if he didn't call it out. I don't know if maybe Xander didn't hear it, but here comes he gets in the back of the 921. Here comes the 88. Oh my gosh, your 2 race contenders caught up in that wreck. And that changes everything. That changes everything. Lots of damage to that 2 machine. Lots of damage to the 88. Actually, just a little bit of right front damage. iRacing gave him a break. Wow. Very bizarre turn of events. I'll leave Jay Salmon in the lead. I don't know what to say. They see some cars coming down pit side. Your first is going to be the 3 of Garth. I don't mind this move, honestly. You're going to have what? You know, 5-7 lap fresher tires? With 37 to go, I mean, you saw how much, even just like 5 laps of fresh tires did. You saw the 88 of Bellinger run down the whole field. With 8 seconds, with an 8-second gap, he came and ran down the race leader. So, I'm honestly surprised that only this 3 car came down and decided to make a move here. Gonna beat Michael Deitch off pit road. Michael Deitch back on the lead lap. Got the lucky dog somehow. Take a look at this 88 machine. So a lot of right front damage to him. Andy Short. So I think he got the worst out of this. What a shame. What a shame. See that left front. Completely destroyed. Well, we're back green here. 36 to go here at Homestead. Dave Salmon leads us back into turn 1. A huge gap to P2. Lucas Edwards the second. Not the best start for him. And Lee Hamby. Look at him. We said it was over for him. He was 13 seconds off because of those green flag pit stops. But this caution is exactly what he needed. It's really allowed some of these guys take advantage of what happened, right? Alan Phillips now in the top 3. I mean, I would say the 2 guys to beat are basically out of this race. Obviously, they're going to try to limp it around and hold on. But, oh, we see the 38 blinking. Go back to Lucas Edwards in that P2 position. And Edwards super sideways out of 4. What a save. I'm looking at this 3 car. Back here. Freshest tires in the field. Great Gill up into the top 5. You know, 35 to go. This is kind of the time where there's not a lot of time for tire wear. There is going to be tire wear. I'll say that. It's going to be interesting because it's a short enough run to where you're not going to hyper save, right? But it's still enough to where you need to worry about track position and keeping your stuff underneath you. Ray Gill underneath the 914. And we're gonna run the top. Oh wow, 914 super sideways. That's gonna allow Corey Mott to take a look. He's gonna get around the 914 as well. So Lee Hamby going backwards on this start. I don't know what happened to that machine. Looks like no damage, but the handling had just gone away on that machine. But here comes Alan Phillips underneath for the race lead. Gonna drive it into the corner. Slide job. Gonna slide up in front of this 67. 67 gonna cross him over once again. Side by side at the line. Give it to the 67 once again. So they're gonna run the top. He's gonna clear him this time. But here comes Ray Gill in the 23. Ray Gill up four spots from where he started. Trying to be patient. Because even with those our two top drivers out of the race, this will have amazing racing up here in the top 3, up into the top 5, even top 10. Lucas Edwards being pressured by Mateus for that P5 position. Marcamini trying to use that top. Gonna get a run off. Gonna try to clear this 87 down the straightaway. Not gonna quite do it. Marcamini was at the top, was up towards the front here at the start of the race, but started to lose pace as the run went on. But up here inside the top 6, trying to take this P5 spot away from the 87. He's going to get a little bit of help from Lee Hamby if he can keep it out of the wall. I think he's going to get him this time. Now Lee Hamby going to be side by side with this 87. Hamby's going to clear now side by side with the 3 for P8. Lucas just getting freight trained on the top. You're gonna fall all the way back from P4 to P8 within a matter of some laps. Oh, the 88 lap car. Bellinger trying to stay out of the way. Gonna just put it up into the wall there. That kind of checked up this whole pack here. I think that 924 of Mateus was running the wall. He had to check up big time. He's gonna lose 2 spots now. The Hamby, and potentially to the Griswold Industry machine. Everybody's single file out there, but we do have a battle behind. 44 Lisby. Trying to get around to 87. Lucas Edwards continuing to fall behind. I just hope this 87 is saving this stuff. That's the only thing I could think of why he's continuing to let these guys just get a run on off the top. He's going to get around, jump up, but here comes the 44 with the crossover. We're going to look underneath. Oh, his 87 gets into the wall a little bit. Comes Ryan Taft to the inside. Go back up here inside the top 5. Little battle for this P3 position. Ray Gill, Corey Mott. Corey's going to make the pass on the 23. He needs to get up. Corey puts himself into a podium position. What a turnaround for this 99. He's running outside the top 10 at the start of the race. They just slowly, you know, kept working at this truck. looking at the car. Now up here inside the top 3. Remember Corey, when we talked about him in that pre-race, not used to driving these fixed style cars. Remember back in the day, VRS used to be an open set league. And with the way open sets are in iRacing, unless when you run a fixed set, you cannot adjust, you know, the tire pressures and the wedge and all that stuff in the car. Once you get a fixed set, the only thing you can adjust in the car is really like the steering offset and steering range, like a 12-to-1, 10-to-1, whatever that is, right? Besides that, once you get in the car, there's nothing you can really change besides brake bias. At the end of the day, when it comes to like a mile and a half, brake bias is not really going to help you at all. So, he's really had to change the way he drives, and he said in that interview in the preseason when he got that P2, just falling short the Nathan jump, that he had to learn how to, you know, instead of relying on tools that he had with these open sets, messing with the tire pressures, messing with the you know, with the wedge and stuff like that in the track bar, he has to change his driving style to match what the car wants instead of matching the car to his driving style, right? Look at him now up here inside the top 3, having a really nice run as of right now. Garth with those fresher tires, starting to run down this pack. And if anybody has a shot at getting back to that number 38 who started to fully pull away here, it's going to be this 3 car. He's got the freshest tires. Even if it's by a lap, it's still fresher tires. And right now he's running some of the fastest laps on the track. And being side by side at that. The 23 didn't have the best 3 and 4. He's gonna get around him. 23 is gonna push him down the straight. Maybe some teammates there. You see the same number font on those trucks. Ray Gill and Griswold, some veterans in the league, so I could see them potentially working with each other, or at least, you know, Ray giving Arth a break right there. But the laps are starting to run down here at Homestead-Miami Speedway. I'm sorry to say this, but Tyler Bellinger's put that truck in the garage and called it a night. What could have been for that number 88 machine. Now 11 laps down. You know, nothing of his doing, right? And I'm sure that James Herbert probably feels just as bad, right? I don't know if he didn't call it out. We'll have to see if he called it out or what happened. Maybe he called it out on all teams. I know some drivers don't uncheck all teams in the radios. If he said it on all teams, there's a chance that, you know, Xander and Tyler didn't hear it. But we'll have to see. Maybe in post-race interviews we can ask some opinions on this. What a shame for Xander. What a shame for Tyler. You know, had probably the 2 fastest trucks there at the end. It was going to be between them, but that caution did bring everybody else together, and it's allowing us to paint a different picture at the end of this story. You have the 3, and now with the freshest tires, slowly trying to reel in your race leader. Only a 1.5 seconds behind, so plenty of time with 14 to go to come back there and run these guys down. And needs to get around the boss man here, Corey Mott. And we know Corey does not want to give away a podium. You know, he's talked about it is not getting a lot of chances to talk. They get an interview here in the Crown Jewel series, and he's not going to give this one up very easily. Lee Hamby running down this 23 machine. See if Lee wants to make a move to the inside, as he does. Lee going to be side by side out of the corner. But if he's going to have a run. Not enough to clear, though. Side by side going into 3 and 4. '23 is going to walk it up the track a little bit. Still side by side. Give it to the... Ooh, contact! Still side by side for this P6 spot. P5, my apologies. We have to turn away from here because we have a battle for the lead. Jay Salmon has caught you, race leader, with 10 to go. And if they start to get battling, Corey Mott and that 3 of Garth will start to make this a battle. There runs the top to get a good run down the backstretch here. Now with 10 to go, the tire's starting to fail on this 38 machine that he pushed too hard. '67 going to go up top. Going to get another huge run down the straight. 38's going to block. 67's going to go down low. Going to pinch him all the way down there. Going to make some contact. 38's going to save it. But out loud now, both these two, the 3 and this 99, are there. 4-car race for the win here. With 8 to go. '67's going to clear. Now contact between the 99 and the 3 for that P3 position. Corey Mott jumps up to the top. I think Corey knows that he needs to get around this 38. Oh, he's going to use up the 38 a little bit. 38's going to get to the quarter of the 67. Lifts, has to lift. Now side by side for the lead. Now P2. Corey Mott looking for the lead. Corey's going to slide up in front of the 67. 67's going to try to do a crossy. Gonna get to his quarter panel. Side by side. 6 to go here at Homestead. Corey with the run off the top. He's gonna clear the 67. He's got clear. He's gonna go down to the bottom. The lap cars, Andy Short up in front. Andy decides to run the top. So he's ran all night. See a lot of damage to that 2 machine. He's going to stay up there. Going to make that 99 shallow up his entry. '99 trying to break the draft down the straightaway. '67 has not been able to keep up with 99. 99 starting to pull away just a little bit. Coming to the line now. We're going to be 3 to go here at Homestead. Does anybody have anything for this 99 machine? '67 going to try to lunge it in. I mean, he's still within striking distance and maybe put a bump on him. He gets there at a really good exit, honestly. Out of 3 and 4, he's going to be there at his bumper, coming to 2 to go here. Battle for the lead, but also battle for the P3 position. Garth Griswold trying to get underneath the 38. I'm Garth. You cannot continue to be nice. We've seen this 38 start to pinch and pinch and pinch everybody. You've got the better truck right now. You got to get out. You got to go. He's going to clear 38. Give him that P3 position. They're coming to the white. White flag in the air for this number 99. Can Corey Mott hold on for another lap? Or does this 67 have something else in the tank here? Not the best corner for Jay Salmon, and I think right now Corey just got to get back to the line. Salmon's going to drive it into the corner, but not enough. Coming out of turn 4. Week number 2, but win number 1. Corey Mott's going to take you here at Homestead. What a good win for Corey. Heartfelt, probably a popular win here in the series as well. Now, obviously, the league owner here for Crown Jewel has been doing this for a long time. Had a heartbreaking defeat in the preseason, losing to Nathan Jump by 12 100ths of a second. Now, Corey, I don't think had the best truck, but that thing came alive here at the end. He did a fantastic job saving tires. And he gets to burn it down here on the front stretch here. What a win. Congratulations, Corey Mott. And here we go. Is he going to burn it down and rip off the front bumper, whatever it is? Congratulations, man. You earned it. We'll get ready to talk to your race winners if we can get back in the Discord. Ryan Taft. Congratulating your race winner there, but we're gonna go ahead and go through your finishing results here. Brought to you by HVTV. Corey Mott victorious here at Homestead. Jay Salmon, Garth Griswold, Alan Phillips, and Lee Hamby. And that's your top 5. Really good result for Lee. Feel like he's had a top 3 car every time we've come out and has not been able to put a good finish together. So good for you to get a top 5, Lee. Ray Gill, Lucas Edwards, Ted Lisby, Ryan Todd, Michael Deitch, top 10. Mateus, James, Xander Short, Jonathan Ledger, and Jim Mott going to round out the top 15, all laps down. And the rest of the field out of the race early. Tyler Bellinger, Joe Gibbons, Cody Simmons, Billy Martin Sr. Going to round out your field here. But we're going to get ready to to your top 3. But while we get everybody into the waiting booth and ready to go, let's go ahead and hand you back over to our partners over at iRacing.
Race
Welcome back to Homestead-Miami Speedway here for the post-race show of the Sportsman Legacy Trucks Series here once again at Homestead-Miami. But without further ado, let's go ahead and talk to your top 3 finishers. Go ahead and we can find your 3rd place finisher here in Garth Griswold. Hey Garth, it's Christian up here in the HVTV booth. Got a copy? Well, pretty dang well, but probably not as good as you guys up there. You know, like P3 finish for you. You know, it looked like you had a pretty fast truck looking at um, you know, qualifying and everything else, and coming home with the P3 finish after running inside the top 10. But you know, walk us through your race. Walk us through, you know, that battle at the end, potentially racing for that race win.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. It was a good race. Setup felt good. Truck drove great. Um, kind of always felt like I had some speed. Didn't think I had enough speed. Figured either Tyler or Xander would be there fighting for it at the end. And then when they got involved in that, then I was like thinking to myself, hey, I will have a chance here now. And it was just a fun last 20 laps there. It was just a blast battling through that. Watching Corey make that stick on the bottom there was pretty wild. I thought I could try that, and then every time I tried, I was like, nope, couldn't get it. So finally got around Allen in there at the end, and always happy to take a podium though.
Yeah, podium's always nice, especially like I said, you qualified on the pole, so you really showed that you had the speed to at least try to contend there. But now walking us through this track, you talked about, you know, using the top, using the bottom. How dynamic was this track compared to, you know, something like, you know, the cars that the audience are probably used to driving, like the next gen, maybe like the truck and the Xfinity, compared to, you know, this truck that seems like it's a little bit more of a handful to drive.
Yeah, there you could definitely have some arrow played on you there. If you get to the back bumper of someone, it'd really push you tight and get you high. I did not prefer the high line. I tried it there. To try to get around Corey, and then I went dropped me back 2 or 3 seconds, and that's kind of when Corey kind of left me, and then I had to deal with Allen and then Xander, who was a lap down there, and finally got around them, and So the truck though is just a blast though to drive. Like if you haven't tried driving these old trucks, like I highly encourage you come out, try to hop in one of these trucks and give it a whirl. They're a blast.
It looked like a lot of fun, honestly, sitting up here in the booth, just seeing you guys sometimes slide those things around, especially at a turn four. I saw a lot of moments out of there. But despite that, coming home with a P3 finish, nothing to complain about right there. But before we let you go, anybody you want to thank? Any sponsors, shout outs? Anybody watching at home that you want to thank?
I'd give a big shout out to you, Christian, for sticking around here and always putting on a good show here for us. Um, we're just getting started again here at Crown Jewel, so we're all about having some fun and having good racing. So come check us out.
I definitely appreciate the shots, and man, I wouldn't be doing it without you guys putting on a good show, and obviously love being a part of the Crown Jewel family here. Been here for a while, and just lucky enough to be here to call the races. But we're gonna drag you back down to get ready for next week. Hopefully, we can talk to you maybe in Victory Lane next week.
Yeah, thanks, Christian.
Yeah, thanks a lot. That was your P3 finisher, Garth Griswold. Uh, give a huge applause for him. I mean, good run through the field. I thought maybe he was the guy to beat. Qualifying on pole. This, you know, with Garth, he's always a kind of a top five finisher, top. He's good at getting finishes. And when I saw him qualify on the pole, I was like, wow, maybe this is like his track for this car. But for granted, P3 finish, can't complain about that. Let's go ahead and talk to you, P2 finisher, and Jay. Hey Jay, it's Christian up here in the HVTV booth. You got a copy?
Yes, sir.
Well, pretty quiet day for you, racing within, the top five, top 10. And then at the end, kind of just had all this kind of fall in your lap. You had the 2 leaders wreck, trying to get around a lap car. And then you were, there.
Yeah. Decided not to go for tires. Keep me in clean air is what I think has really helped me stay up front where I was the entire time I was just racing on someone's bumper, racing against their bumper. And once I got the clean air and was leading for a bit, I was able to find my groove and stick in it and finally get comfortable on the track the entire race, and then just marched Alan down once he got around me. Gosh dang, the one mistake in the turn one, though. I just overdrove entry, kept it high, let Alan get underneath me, and then Corey sends a Hail Mary throw in the turn one that puts us 3 wide. Oh, that was an amazing move on his part.
Yeah,
fantastic.
Yeah, it looked like Corey may just did a little bit of a better job saving tires, but you getting that clean air, Garth was mentioning, how there was a little bit of aero push in these things. Was that something you were experiencing as well?
I would say, yeah, especially, whenever you're right behind someone's nose, you feel the front end lose a little grip. Right front has to work a little harder when you're right up underneath someone's bumper like that, because you don't have the air on it. But I mean, yeah, I just need it for me so I could get my groove going with the clean air.
Yeah, it looked like clean air was definitely king. I mean, you saw like at the start of these runs that whoever got the lead there could kind of pull away, and I don't know, maybe it was just like you guys were saving tires a little better, but it always seemed like that whoever was leading there on that restart would always get ran back down, and that's what happened here, right? We saw you guys get up to Allen, get around him, and then Corey just got around you. But besides that, is there really anything you could have done maybe differently to keep that 99 behind you?
It's going through the replay and watching the race, talking with him again, it all came down to I guess technically to the one where I got into Allen. We both got slowed up, kept Corey, and let Corey really get up close to us. And then overdriving entry in 1 was my biggest mistake. Once Corey got around me, there's nothing really I could do to get back around him. I just had to try to keep in front of Corey and just block as hard as I could. That was my chance to survive and chance to win. But sadly, it wasn't able to come out. But I do want to go ahead and thank my the color green and yellow for the sponsorship of my truck. Nice, beautiful truck. They did a great job. Other than that, I mean, that's it. Unless you got anything else for me, I'll let you go too.
I think that's it for me. So, but once again,
Awesome.
congratulations on that P2 finish. Hopefully, we can talk to you back here maybe next week.
I look forward to it. Thank you.
Yep, have a great rest of the night. That was Jay Salmon, your P2 finisher. It's not quite enough, but I can't wait to talk to Corey here. I mean, he's got to be excited to finally come in here and be in an interview here at Victory Lane. Well, let's go ahead and talk to the boss man himself. Go ahead and talk to Corey Mott, your winner here at Homestead. Hey, Corey, it's Christian up here in the HVTV booth. Got a copy?
Yeah, man, I gotcha.
Well, finally getting it done here in the Sportsman Legacy Trucks Series. You've been close so many times, not only here, but in VRS, whatever you want to call it. But finally, at least here for the high velocity TV side of things, getting up here in Victory Lane. How's it feel, man?
Dude, that was probably a race of the year candidate for this league. That was so freaking awesome. That was so fun.
I definitely agree. Once again, kind of like last week, anywhere I looked, there was some type of battling going on, and I think it's just Homestead who just that always puts on some kind of show, regardless of what you put on it, with how dynamic the track is, with the dynamic banking in the corners and stuff like that. But yeah, walking us through that last 10 laps, I really thought it was going to be between the 67 and that 38. They made contact, and it's really allowed you and Garth to get up there and try to battle for that win.
Yeah, they got into each other. I think Jay got into Alan's left rear, and then I had a huge run. Garth was right behind me. I was like, okay, well, I got to fight Dale Earnhardt right here for a win, so that's gonna be fun. But we got right up to Alan's bumper, and I literally yelled at Alan. I was like, Alan, this is my only chance. You better get out of the way. And he's like, nope. I was like, okay, I'll send it anyways. It was a 161 turn 1. I dove it in there and I made it stick. I kept it right on the side of Alan. That gave me enough. I think Alan got right to Jay's back bumper. I don't know if it got him a little loose just from like taking the air off his spoiler or what. I was able to carry my momentum through the corner, and by the end of the straightaway, I had enough momentum to get to the tail light of Jay. And my truck was just always great on the bottom. I don't know if I just had the perfect balance of brake bias or what, but I got it right down to the line. Got it out on or got out under him in 3 and 4, and then finished it off the next corner on the high line, just carrying the momentum. And from there, it was just hitting my marks for the rest of the race. But anybody that says that you need stage racing to make races exciting is crazy, man. The amount of racing that we had this whole day was just amazing. It was all the pit stops and strategy calls and Xander forcing everybody down to pit lane, a few laps earlier than we all wanted to. It was a battle of mental strategy and physical driving attributes all night, and it was so fun. That was such a fun race.
Oh, I definitely agree, and you can even argue that the pit stops are kind of like its own stages in its own right? But except instead of a hard set, you stop here and come take tires. It's kind of dictated by the drivers, like you said with Xander. He kind of forced everybody's hands to come down pit road early, and obviously it really shook things up. But yeah, I definitely agree. You guys put on a heck of a show. I think it's for you guys here in the Crown Jewel community, probably a top 5 race that we broadcasted. It was definitely a heck of a fun call up here in the booth.
Yeah, absolutely. I feel bad for Tyler and Xander. They got caught up. I mean, to be fair, it was kind of on both of them because he called out in Discord that he was pitting, and then I don't know if Xander just ignored it or what, but they all got tied up and opened the door for the rest of us. It was going to be the Tyler Xander show for that whole last stint there, and the end just mashed everything up and gave an opportunity to 4 really good trucks to sneak in there. And Garth got a top 3, and Jay got a really good run in top 2. And I told Alan, I was like, he took 2 tires at that last caution. I was like, I don't know if 2 tires are going to hold up. There's a lot of heat in those left sides, even after 5 laps. And well and behold, he fell off right at the perfect time, and Jay didn't take tires, and he fell off right about that same time. And it was just opened the door for us to be there after being consistent all night. Started outside the top 10 and slowly worked our way up all night. So
Yeah, I definitely agree. For you, that was kind of a grind mentality kind of race where didn't have the best quality lap, wasn't really the best in practice either, but we're up here. You put yourself in the perfect position to come up here, race, claim victory lane here at Homestead. But before we let you go, anybody you want to shout out, thank for this victory here at Homestead?
Yeah, big thanks to TJ, TH Designs for sponsoring this series for a few more weeks here, so we get some good quality broadcasts up here. Thank you for you again to doing it, committing to broadcast this for us. Thanks everybody that came out to race and everybody that came out to watch as well. It was a really fun race. If you're out there and you haven't raced in this series yet, and you guys are out there in our Discord lurking around thinking that you want to race something, I'll be honest with you, this and the Gen 4 series are slowly emerging. Honestly, even the IndyCar series on Wednesdays, all three of these series that we have going right now are really fun, all in their own way. It's very unique, different styles of racing, and I highly recommend everybody to try them out if they have a open time. But yeah, thanks to everybody that came out. Thanks you for broadcasting. Thanks TJ. That's all from me.
Well, we'll let you go, but yeah, you kind of summed up everything here. But once again, congratulations on this one. It must feel nice, especially after Charlotte, getting out here and getting a victory lane. But we will let you go for the rest of the night, and hopefully we'll talk to you soon.
Alrighty, sounds good. Thank you very much. Have a good night.
Yep, you too. That was your race winner, Corey Mott. What a finish! He put it to a T. These races have been unbelievable to call and everything else. I mean, these guys put on a heck of a show with these trucks that do not handle very well at that. So, you just got to give a hands off to all these drivers. I mean, it's not easy to put these cars with and do what they're doing with these cars and stuff like that. So, but with that said, we're gonna go ahead and start your post race show. Here we get this done. We'll go ahead and look at your race results one last time. My apologies for that. Corey Mott, your winner here at Homestead. You see Jay Salmon back there in P2. Garth Griswold, P3. Alan Phillips, P4. Lee Hamby, P5. Ray Gill, P6. Lucas Edwards, P7. Ted Lisby, P8. Ryan Taft, P9. Running out your top 10. Michael Deitch, good run for him in that 10th position. P11. Last car on the lead lap, Mateus Ezekiel Macamini. And P12, laps down, James Hebert, Xander Short, Jonathan Ledger, and Jim Mott. And out early, Tyler Bellinger, Joe Gibbons, Cody Simmons, and Billy Martin Sr. But besides that, guys, we'll go ahead and play a wrap-up show. Once again, shout out and thanks to TH Designs for the sponsorship for the Sportsman Legacy Trucks Series. You heard Corey talk about it. If you guys are a fan or need any graphics design work or any paint schemes made, make sure to go over and check out TH Designs. We do have him linked down in the descriptions below, his Twitter, to go reach out to him and see what you can do with him. He does a great job with the paint schemes and stuff on the sim. And once again, thank you for sponsoring this series, TH. We highly appreciate it. But if you guys are looking, also shout out to Crown Jewel for allowing us to come out here and broadcast everything else out. But once again, this was the Sportsman Legacy Truck Series. I am your lead producer and commentator for tonight's race here in the HVTV studios. Once again, shout out to Delta Eagle Designs. We do not have him down in the description, but he is a partner here for High Velocity TV. So go over, check him out at Delta Eagle Designs or Delta Eagle Racing. He does all of our graphical work here internally for the network. So if you guys would also looking for some graphic design work outside of scheme making, make sure to DM him over there. If you guys are interested in joining the Crown Jewel community, we also have that listed down in there. As Corey said, this Legacy Truck Series and the Gen 4 Series are growing very rapidly. They seem to put on some really good racing. And also, if you guys are interested in joining the HVTV family, we also do have that link down below. Whether you're interested in wanting something broadcasted, whether it's a league or we we're gonna do a 6 hour of Watkins Glen broadcast until that kind of fell through due to some unessential crises. But if you guys are looking for anything broadcasted, make sure to join the Discord. That's the best way to get a hold of me or anybody about a broadcast opportunity. Or even if you're interested in being in the booth or, getting into broadcasting. I feel like for me personally, the owner of HVTV, we are trying to give opportunities to people that maybe don't get them with these bigger networks, right? And that's what we're trying to do. We're young. We're trying to grow. We're trying to get some people who are interested and want to grow with us. If you guys are interested in even being a part of that side of things, make sure to join the Discord. Or if you just want to hang out, we got a great group of guys there over in the Discord channel and in the server. So if you guys are just wanting to hang out, make sure to join the Discord as well. But lastly, one thing, guys, my name is Christian Delgado, your lead producer and announcer. And thank you guys so much for coming out, watching the broadcast. We'll be back on this Thursday for a new league, the Prestige Racing Series, their season opener at Daytona. So please be on the lookout for that. And we'll see you guys on Thursday. Once again, hope you guys have a great night. And you have been watching an HVTV production here at Homestead. Hope everybody has a great night, and we'll see you soon.